Are you brave enough to talk about shadows? More like the question is, am I brave enough to talk about shadows? And the fact is, I hate talking about stuff that's hard. But I'm also going to talk about stuff that's really, really beautiful. So stay tuned through the whole thing because it is going to get really, really bright. Hey, it's Rolinda. You're here in my studio. It is almost 6 p.m. I'm hungry. My legs hurt. I've been painting and painting, and it feels so good to paint. Because when I have a moment like today, which has all of the greatest heights of emotion and all of the greatest lows, painting is the thing that grounds me. Like truly grounds me. Is there anything that grounds you? I'm really curious about that. Now, I'm painting away and I'm almost done for the night, and I got to thinking about shadows. I didn't used to paint shadows in my art. In fact, I didn't really care to paint shadows in my art. I didn't even want to notice the shadows. But something amazing happened when I started adding just a tiny touch of Van Dyke brown of a shadow. My paintings came to life. All of a sudden they had this roundness to them and this depth that you could actually step into the painting. And sometimes it wasn't Van Dyke brown, sometimes it was Persian blue or a really gorgeous deep, deep purple, or a combination of colors like alizarin crimson and phthalo green to make Payne's gray. Who cares? It's a shadow. The part though that is really fascinating is as I go back and look at previous paintings that I've done in collectors' homes, and I notice the paintings that don't have shadows, they're flat. They don't have the deep dimension that life offers when there are shadows. And the only way you can have a shadow is if there's light. So this is where the conversation gets a little hard. We're losing people. We've lost people. There are people still that might get lost. And some of these people actually lose their bodies and they leave the earth, and other people, they lose their soul and not soul, like that's not even the right word, but the heart of them. The fear takes over, the shadows take over them, and all there is darkness. And recently, we lost another friend to cancer. We had an Orchid Stories event for her 2 Novembers ago, and it is super sad, but Angie is no longer in pain. And that's the bright point. But having these shadow moments, these shadow days are so hard. You know what I'm talking about. When you just want to crawl into bed and not get up. But I am promising you there is always light. If there is going to be a shadow, there will be light. There is hope. And with that being said, on such a hard note, I want to actually show you what can happen when you add that shadow into your life, because this is what I also know. You cannot grieve someone that you didn't love. And the deeper the grief, the more you loved and love. And I think that is the bigger part of all of this. This is why Orchid Stories has changed my life so much. This is why orchids mean so much to me, is because they give me hope, love, and life after the loss. Always hope, love, and life. And it's my wish, it is my hope that you can find that life after loss by just pouring out the love. And it's really interesting that I say pour out. It feels good when people pour love into us, and it's magnificent but it's when we actually pour out love that we actually have even a greater amount of love. It's kind of a crazy thing. So let me show you a couple of shadows that I've been playing with today on this day of remembering Angie. Now this is what I was talking about. This is Van Dyke Brown and a little bit of Japan dryer, and mix that in and make it nice and thin and translucent. I've already put Waco Danish oil on this painting. That's a whole nother conversation. But now it's just a tiny little mark. All on this side of the liquid tree. And right now it looks very stark and harsh. And kind of is, quite frankly. But what's fascinating, if I ever miss a spot, like on one of the trunks or something, it is so noticeable that that brown shadow, that Van Dyke brown shadow is gone, is missing. All right, and now the fun part is actually coming in with my fingertip and just rubbing. Oh, see that little spot right there? I missed it. There we go. And feathering out that beautiful Van Dyke brown. Honestly, it's quite soothing to do this. It's amazing. It doesn't take a lot of effort to add this shadow, but the results are so incredible. So you'll notice here I get a lot of the brown on my fingertips, that Van Dyke brown, and then I wipe it off so I have more control. And I'm able to mush that color in. And there you have it. It's interesting because this little leaf wants shadow too. It told me it did. I'm teasing. There. Now look, you can see the contrast right here where it doesn't have the shadow. It wants a shadow. Our lives, if there was never night, if there was never shadows, we would never, it would be sad. Everything would be flat. It's the shadow that gives it life. And sadly, all the dark times in life, the hard times, are what make those sweet times that much sweeter. Isn't that amazing? Compare that to that. Wow. It's always hard to talk about the hard stuff, but here we are. Hang in there. There's plenty of love to go around. There's plenty of hope to go around. We just have to find it by living our lives to their fullest. And a big shout out to Karen. All right. See you guys.